Lead story for Thursday, March 20th. Apple and Google are pushing back against the EU's Digital Markets Act, claiming new interoperability and openness rules hurt consumers and innovation. The European Commission says these tech giants are abusing market dominance, with Google facing potential fines for favoring its services and restricting developer freedom. Apple isn't under pressure to make iOS more compatible with third-party devices. The tech giant argues the rules compromise security and user experience, highlighting growing tension between Apple, Google, and European regulators. As this lead story portrays, it is once again the EU doing things that probably, in some instances, probably should be happening here in the United States. You know, they're demanding more interoperability, and I always think that's good, and fairness in App Store and so forth. And of the two decisions made by the EU on Wednesday, the implications are more immediately worrisome, worrisome for Google than Apple. The commission issued a preliminary finding following an investigation into whether Google search favored promoting the company's own services. Well, duh. And of course, the Google Play Store prevents app developers from steering people to other channels as well. And of course, on both counts, Google was failing to comply with the DMA, meaning it could be in line for fine up to 10% of its annual global turnover. And of course, both practices negatively impact many European and non European businesses that rely on Google Search or Google Play to reach users in the EU. When it comes to Apple, the commission issued guidance as to how it wants the company to make third party products, smartwatches, for example, interoperable with iOS and iPad. The aim, it said, is to give people in Europe more choices of products they can buy that will be compatible with iPhones and iPads. I guess the question is which products, I would ask. And what is that list that isn't interoperable now? Now, at the same time, we know that some of this activity has been more of a money grab than anything else. But at the same time, we all know that, Apple and Google are pretty hardcore when it comes to the App Store and the percentage of monies that they're able to earn from sales and for subscriptions that are happening through the iOS phone. So time will tell how this ultimately boils down, whether or not the president will get involved, because he has indicated in the past that he doesn't like how the EU is essentially funding its IT tech off the backs of American companies. With that, I want to welcome you to episode 1809. I'm your host, Todd Cochran. Of course, a shout out to our incredible sponsor at GoDaddy. Explore exclusive deals and discounts at geeknesscentral.com/GoDaddy. And to all our listeners, you're the heartbeat of this show. If you want to support GNC, head to geeknesscentral.com/insider and become a GNC insider. We're live and lit, or lit and live, but just don't listen. Experience the show live by grabbing a modern podcast app. And you can do that at podcastapps.com. Of course, you can check out the full Geek News Central universe at geeknewscentral.com, where you'll find all of our partner shows and, of course, tons of new content. Stay in the loop, follow or subscribe to the podcast via your favorite podcast app. And, of course, don't forget to sign up for a newsletter. And it's on the website. And you can always get all the insider scoops if you're on the newsletter. You can join the conversation at geeknews.chat or email me, geeknews@gmail.com. You can hit me up on X at geeknews. And, of course, you can even find me on Facebook. Geek News Central listeners, you save lots of money when you use my GoDaddy discount codes. So get exclusive savings right now at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can start with a website or podcast, or maybe it's a place to put your bio. You just never know. They're great. Get online, get set up, start a store. GNC codes make it easy and affordable. Grab GoDaddy's economy hosting for just $6.99 a month. That's a full year of hosting with a free domain name, professional email, and SSL certificate. Are you interested in WordPress, which is my personal favorite? WordPress managed hosting is just $12.99 a month, which includes a free domain, professional email, and again, an SSL certificate. Do you need a domain name? Get yours for just $11.99. Of course, they've got GoDaddy Website Builder. You can get a free 30-day trial on personal, business, or business plus plans. Geek News Central uses all of the GoDaddy products and services, and your support keeps this podcast alive. You can use our codes at checkout, or you can click and save. Again, you're back in an independent team of creators. Share my codes or website link with friends and family, because every time a code is used, it supports Geek News Central. Thank you so much for keeping us online and going strong. So I hope everyone's doing well. Just found out that the green screen is delivered. I have to go downstairs and pick that up today. So maybe we'll be with a green screen on the next show. It's already Friday here in the Philippines. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Very, very full work week. Lots of meetings, lots of things going on, lots of moving parts. It's amazing when you add just a few more people to the team, just how much more work can be accomplished as a whole. It's really quite incredible. It really, really is. But doing well. And anyway, let's go ahead and get into the stack of content, and let's keep this tech train rolling. I've always said, if you are a Mac user, you are not exempt. Mac users are in danger of a well-known Windows phishing attack, and what it basically is, it just scams. It's a scam way to make you think that an update is needed. You'll get a pop-up basically saying your computer's got a bug or a virus, or it needs to be updated, and it tries to social engineer you into clicking one of those links. And don't do it. Just maintain your updates as you would with any other Mac product. Don't be enticed by some pop-up saying that you need to update something. You know how Mac is updated. Just follow those normal updates. And I truly believe you should run Norton and Malwarebytes. I do. I've run it for years on my Mac, and picked up a virus here and there. Picks up a malware. Picks up me trying to go to a site I shouldn't be going to. It's all in the name of security. I know many of you run without any antivirus and without any malware. I'm just not willing to risk it, especially in this economy where we're all working. Many of us are working from home and using our computers, and keeping security up is really, really important. Stalkerware data breach potentially hits over 2 million users, including thousands of Apple devices. And this is kind of, it's really bad. A widely used consumer grade stalkerware operation was hit by a data breach in 2024. TechCrunch claims the breach affected SpyX and two related mobile apps, impacting information for almost 2 million people, including 17,000 Apple iCloud credentials. Now, I'm not familiar with what SpyX is, but SpyX calls itself the best phone monitoring app and provides real-time recording video and audio screenshots of the target's device. And these are often used by spouses that are have maybe some infidelity going on the other part. They're trying to catch them, or it's often marked as parental control. But that's probably not true. But SpyX never informed people of this breach. So if you have been using SpyX, be aware. Stuff about you is out in the wild. There's an interesting article about Five Eyes. Now, those of you that are not familiar with Five Eyes is an alliance between Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States, where they share intelligence information. And we know that there has been a pause in intelligence sharing from the U.S. to Ukraine that happened earlier in the month. And that pause has since been lifted. But what has really been found is even though the United States stopped sharing information, that wasn't the case with Australia, New Zealand, UK, and Canada. But there's been some reporting going on that really the information coming out of those countries was very, very slim, and that the United States bores the majority of the intelligence sharing. And I would say, based upon my 30 some years of having been read in and have access to classified material, very rarely did I see something coming out of Australia, Canada, New Zealand. Saw more coming out of the UK during the Gulf War and Australia as well. But yeah, it definitely, the bulk of the information is with the United States. YouTube is investigating a bug causing low res videos. So apparently, if you're playing shorts, some of them are streaming at 144p versus 360. So they're looking into that. So be aware of that if you're seeing some low quality videos. Also, WhatsApp has patched a security flaw which let hackers install spyware. WhatsApp is huge here. It's the number one way to communicate. People don't have telephone numbers. They just have digital plans, or they have a telephone number with very little data, or you're not able to forward incoming phone calls or text. So WhatsApp is really the big one, and they fixed a 0-day vulnerability, which it was apparently used by nation states to spy on journalists, dissidents, political opponents, and others. And of course, that's what happens. Of course, that's what did happen in the United States, but it's happening outside the United States on a regular basis. A data breach at a Pennsylvania education unit potentially exposes 500,000 victims. Pennsylvania State Education Association has potentially exposed more than 500,000 people to identity theft phishing. So just be aware of that. This public sector union sent a data breach notification letter to the individuals. So if you're affected, you will get a letter over that. And my Windows machine over here, which just does one simple job, it does streaming, audio streaming, is sitting here raging. It's just screaming like it's out of control. I'm gonna have to look to not use that. And it's sitting here, the fan's running so high, it's just driving me crazy. Those of you that are watching the show can let's see if I can point it, can see it over here. It's really doing nothing more than, and it's just sitting there howling. NASA's examining options for another Starliner test. Oh, really? At a briefing after the return of the Crew Dragon spacecraft to complete the Crew 9 mission, Steve Stitch, NASA Commercial Crew Program Manager, said the agency expected another Starliner test flight with or without people on board before beginning crew rotation missions with the vehicle. He says what we'd like to do is one flight and then get into the crew rotation flight. So the next flight up would be to test all the changes that they make into the vehicle, and then the next flight beyond that would need to get Boeing into crew rotation. So a step backwards, potentially going without a crew. Again, the test flight could be with an uncrewed mission, but would be able to support crews even if we were to fly the vehicle without a crew. We want to be able to be crew capable, so we want to have all the systems in place that we fly with a crew aboard. So you run everything like someone was in there, soaking up oxygen. So anyway, they prove themselves capable of bringing the spacecraft back. So I guess, maybe they get another shot at it. This is kind of shocking here. A man has filed a complaint after ChatGPT said he killed his children. So I guess he asked for ChatGPT for some information about himself, and he basically said that he had been convicted and went to jail for killing his kids. And the response ChatGPT included that he was a Norwegian individual gained attention due to a tragic event. It said he was a father of two young boys, 7 and 10, which were tragically found dead in a pond near their home. Oh, I guess so. It didn't say he murdered him. It said he just so it found it wrong. Mr. Holman said the Chat GPT got their age gap roughly right, suggesting it did have some accurate information about them. So, was any of this information clear? Did they actually die? I don't think so. They don't make it clear here. But it's not clear if there was a drowning or not. So maybe the boys did actually drown, but okay, so there is some confusion here. But anyway, yeah, it check what it's saying about you. Google Gemini is coming to Chrome for faster, easier browsing, quote unquote. Google's testing integration of Gemini at the top of the browser in the latest Chrome Canary build to facilitate access to the AI and make your browsing experience easier. Thanks to browser researcher, new details about the feature works have emerged. So, yeah, you knew this was coming. It was going to be embedded right in the browser. I'm not surprised whatsoever. Apple apparently isn't happy with what's going on with Siri. Apple is undergoing a rare shakeup of its executive ranks and aim to get its AI efforts back on track. Bloomberg News reported Thursday, citing people familiar from the report, Chief Executive Tim Cook has lost confidence in the ability of AI head John, oh my gosh, Gianandrea to execute on product development, so he's moving over another top executive to help. Vision Pro creator Mike Rockwell. You think that guy's going to help, considering what's happened with Vision Pro and how it's really not advanced? Time will tell. Chromebooks are not dead. Acer has just launched 7 new Chrome OS laptops aimed at students and professionals. Prices range from 329 euros, or about $430, to around 729 euros, or about $800. Be available in May. So a whole stack of new Chrome OS laptops. TikTok is adding Amber Alerts for your feed. So this is interesting. So via their blog post, has teamed up with the National Center for Missing Exploited Children to bring these alerts to users and to leverage the power of the TikTok community to help reunite kids with their families. So good move on TikTok, and you can see they're doing some things right now to try to keep them in the public eye. I've been seeing ads for them on digital TV ads, which is curious. So forget the folding iPhone. Apple has patented a foldable Apple Watch with 2 screens. It looks like something out of a Spy Kid movie. Interesting. So I wonder if you'll see the normal screen on top and then a dual screen on the bottom. So it reveals a unique feature. Also features a camera and even a rotating and sliding elements. So, that would definitely be a radical design for me. I think that would be a quick trip to a broken watch. I'm always banging my watch on stuff, so I'm not sure that would work out for me. But hey, I'd probably buy one just for the nostalgia factor of, beam me up, Scotty type of a deal, right? NVIDIA is selling RTX GPUs from a food truck. Yes, at GTC 2025, NVIDIA has a couple thousand RTX 5080s and 5090 cards reserved for attendees only, priced at $999 and $1999. So I'll be honest, I was watching the keynote of the NVIDIA founder. It 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 really, and I'm looking at the hardware that they are creating and their roadmap. They got some serious juju going on right now. I mean, unbelievable advancements in GPUs and rack stack and storage and density. Um, there are there I think they're using AI to build these machines. Or there's an alien over there helping them. I'm literally blown away at the fast iteration. They're going from a specific GPU to how they're involving their rack, and the amount of power, the just incredible amount of power that these racks require. And they're counting every watt on these boxes, because when you replicate across the whole data center, an extra watt or two or three or five here or there, just so they're reinventing tech just to lower the power consumption. Um, if you get a chance, and I'll see if I can link it in the show notes, the keynote he gave was astounding. My jaw was just literally on the floor, at looking at their hardware advancement and where they're coming from. I had to kind of giggle at this next article. It talks what's behind the changed relationship between Jeff Bezos and Donald Trump. What's behind it? Uh, you don't want to piss him off. And there's been this love-hate relationship, and Bezos has got a lot of stuff going on. Amazon, Blue Origin. You wanna fight with the administration? Sure, go ahead. See how that works out for you. Um, that's why they don't like him, but they got to work with him. That's just the way it is. Either that, or you're going to garner no favors. There's a good article over on Ars Technica talking about the DOT must not give Tesla or other automakers a free pass. Consumer advocates and families of Tesla crash victims both called on Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Sean Duffy, this week not to weaken oversight of the automotive industry as other government agencies sense the change in administration. They want to make sure that safety is followed in a Tesla Autopilot or FSD. And I think they're going to. I think the general public is smart enough to understand if safety has been reduced and more risk are being taken, well, you're the person sitting in a vehicle with the autopilot. You're the one at risk. You're going to want some oversight on this for sure. China's Baidu, and I think I pronounced that wrong, which is a big search engine there, denies data breach after one of its executives, the daughter, leaked personal information about someone she was having a little fight with online. And we go, The company, one of China's largest cloud providers, was thrust into spotlight last week after online users accused the teenage daughter of Baidu Vice President Xi Zhangjun of posting personal information of other users, such as their phone numbers, after getting into an online argument. Excuse me, sneezed on you there. Baidu said all employees and executives at all levels were prohibited from accessing user data. Baidu has also filed a police report regarding false information circulating online. Ha ha ha. But how did the teenager get this information? The teenager admitted her father had provided her with database access as the controversy over the incident continues to swell. Xi, who is part of Baidu's cloud division, had Monday apologized for his daughter's behavior, saying she had obtained the information from overseas social networking sites. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, whatever. We all know how this goes. They're covering 6 here for sure. Anything in China, it's open. Backdoors everywhere. We've talked about censorship a lot in this show, but X has sued the India government over content removal in a censorship fight. New Delhi, India's IT ministry, has unlawfully expanded censorship powers to allow the easier removal of online content and empowered countless government officials to execute such orders. X has alleged in a new lawsuit against New Delhi. The lawsuit and allegations mark an escalation in an ongoing legal dispute between X and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government over how New Delhi's orders content to be taken down. It also comes as Musk is getting closer to launch his other key ventures, Starlink and Tesla in India. But I'm going to tell you, every country's different. Freedom of speech, I don't think it exists many places truly without the government putting their thumb on it. Something that you have to continue to watch. This is a really good article. Our genes reveal mysterious split in human population 1.5 million years ago. And this is at sciencealert.com. And I started reading through this, and I got about the third way through it. It is really, really interesting. Comes with a couple of cute graphs, too. It talks about the evolution of man and how things split and when. So definitely, if you're into anthropology and into this type of information and understanding how we developed, this is a good one. It really, really is. Definitely give it a look and give it a read. Very, very, very good article. Okay, Google's working on a cleaner backup interface for Android users, and they're redesigning a backup page on Android to give a cleaner and more organized appearance. That's one thing about my my iPhone, iPad. It'll remind me if it hasn't been backed up, but it just works. I don't even have to think about it. I really do. It's just one of those things that it just happens. And on Android, I don't think it's as clean. Now, the Android backup page can be found in settings under system backup. It allows users to manage control their data backed up from their phone to their Google account. You can initiate backups for various data types, including apps and app data. So the updated design for the backup page is still a work in progress, but they've got some preliminaries. And let's make that happen. I think it's good because it's never completely clear how the backup is went on an Android device for sure. Well, I tell you, Roku has definitely pissed off some people. We talked about it on the last show, but Roku's home screen ad experiment is just not setting well with people, and people are complaining about it in a big, big way. I won't rehash it, but we talked about it in the last show, them showing ads before they show the home screen, and people are not at all pleased, and they say, "Hey, this is just too much." Same time, Tesla has recalled more than 46,000 Cybertrucks after some trim has started falling off. The truck's steel trim is attached using glue that's susceptible to environmental embrittlement. So they're going to put a fix on those Cybertrucks. So 46,000 vehicles recalled. LG's NFT marketplace, which I never fully understand for TVs where you could buy digital art, is being shuttered. And they're going to close the platform on June 17th. So I don't know what's going to happen to anything you bought. But anyway, they're closing the platform. Netflix CEO is really amped up the words. He talking a lot of smack about Max specifically. And it's not every day that you see a tech exec dunk on their competitors. But this week's Netflix CEO, Todd Sarandos, was feeling a bit bold. And he just thinks that the HBO Max, I was even confused. There was HBO, HBO Go, HBO Now, HBO Max. There was Max, Max Plus, Max Premium, Max, Superstar. It really, what was this? And just call it HBO. Just call it HBO and make it simple. We all know HBO. But I don't think they're going to rename again. Who knows? Verizon users will soon be able to text via satellite with the correct phone. Google Pixel 9, Samsung Galaxy S25. Those are the only two devices that support it on the Verizon network. So if you got one of those new bad boys, you will be able to text via satellite when you're in an area where there is no connectivity. I was pretty shocked to see this next one. Apple TV has $1 billion annual loss. $1 billion. Of course, that's just a rounding error for Apple. But that blows me away. That's $1 billion. And I have to admit, I spend probably 90% of my time on 2 or 3 services: Netflix, YouTube, and my IPTV service here. That's it. So, very interesting that they've lost $1 billion a year, even though they got 45 million people that are subscribed. They gave away a lot of free access to that whenever you bought an Apple device too. So I wonder if that was part of it. I don't even know if I've got a subscription to Apple TV Plus. I don't think so. I think I would see that in my charges. I don't think so. McDonald's is revealing a Minecraft movie meal with a bizarre set of collectibles and most sinister sounding sauce ever. So this is definitely a sign of the times, a Minecraft meal. So the items will be available from April 1st in the United States and March 26th in the UK. Collectibles and in-game goodies will be up for grabs. And what is the sauces? They have the Big Mac, allegedly mined from the sea of special sauce, whatever that means. The blocky purple grimace egg. So they're Big Mac Crystal, Birdie Wings, Fry Helmet, Grimace Egg, Soda Potion, Zombie Hamburger. So that's what will be available on your local McDonald's meal. In a flash of the past, there's a fun thing on Digital Trends talking about a BBC report from 1971 talking about a car radio of the future. And it is kind of fun. It's a fun little thing to watch and see how far we've come in the world of tech, and not to mention tech, but hairstyles as well. I guess that was the time of turtlenecks in the 70s. God, please let those days never come back. I'm definitely not a turtleneck fan at all. Now, if you're a Plex user, Plex is raising prices and making a great key feature no longer free. So I saw this, and I've had a love-hate relationship with Plex over the years. But if you use Plex to manage your home media library, not only are all of its prices about to rise, but the platform developers announced that you'll no longer be able to remotely stream your media for free. Isn't that some BS? The changes are revealed in a blog post. Plex stated the monthly price for Plex Pass will increase from $4.99 to $6.99, while the annual price will rise from $39 to $69.99. And the most eye-watering setup was the refers for Plex Ultimate Pass, which will more than double from $119 to $249. That's just crazy. So the incoming price hike has a lot of subscribers contemplating signing up to the lifetime pass. And what is the lifetime? Yeah, so that $119 is the way to go for that lifetime pass. So before the price increases, but this is such a bad move by Plex, and maybe this just marks the end. What are you guys using now to manage your internal digital movie collection? I have all mine on Plex. That was painstakingly done as well. So, AI is taking over your favorite fast food restaurant as Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC team up with NVIDIA. 500 locations by the end of 2025. What are they going to do? So, if you've been to one of the more 100 AI-powered restaurants, you may have already ordered a Crunch Wrap Supreme by speaking to AI. For the rest of us who've yet to experience an AI server, your closest Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, KFC, or Habit Burger might be doing this soon. So I guess you send your order to the AI. There's another job lost to a digital being. Finally today, talk about the 16E, the first iPhone to feature the Apple-designed C1 modem, talking about speed test. So there's some good data in here. This is from Ookla, the people that do speed test. and it talks about how the 16E offers better worst case speeds, but iPhone 16 has higher top end performance. So again, when it comes to actual transfer speed, they've got the benchmarks there. So very, very cool. Hey, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you who've been watching the show live, I did make some tweaks to the audio output, so hopefully the audio is much louder on the live stream. And didn't realize I was doing that until someone said it in a live. My mom had sent me said, "Hey, the audio's low," and I couldn't figure out. And she was watching on Facebook or something and could barely hear it. So my apologies. Still, that's not perfect with OBS. It really is not, especially from an audio chain standpoint. I'm doing the show here, it's pretty good, but when I have a guest, it's a little more tricky. Now the Windows machine fan just shut down as I'm getting ready to close here. Hey, as always, don't forget geeknews at gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Don't forget about becoming an insider at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Your 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, or $25 donations are greatly appreciated. We'll get you caught up on those insider donations on the next episode. Also, don't forget about streaming sats to the show through the Value for Value program, where I provide the value, you provide your time, talent, or treasure in return. We definitely appreciate when you participate in the treasure part of the show. It's been my pleasure to bring the podcast. I'll be back with you on Monday for another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone take